Here is the 2001 Suzuki GSXR 600. Essentially, this bike has been kept as stock as possible since I've been able to get it 2 years ago, pretty much fall 2022. So I essentially was able to get this bike for like around 4 to 5K. Not too bad of a deal, in my opinion, considering all the inflation and stuff like that. I kind of saw fit that that wasn't the worst deal. Pretty much I was somewhat worried when I first got this bike though, because it kind of was like lower end for a sport bike, but it is quite old, and essentially I like the idea that it was not carbureted, but yeah, it kind of like bit me in the rear end, fortunately though, because like the fuel tank did have rust already. That was far gone, and too bad to deal with. So, but that kind of satisfied my concerns of the Taurus fuel pump motor, Strader full reline, aftermarket injectors, and all that other stuff. So that wasn't that bad. And it kind of was prepared, for a failure point at some point. So I also had to replace the battery essentially. Just drew in a lithium ion battery. It's a lot lighter. It wasn't too dang expensive as well. Uh, one headlight bulb pretty much blew out. I had to change out, obviously the tires. Um, Front suspension seems to have worn the tire, pretty much caused cupping, but was able to get a little bit more adjustment and just pretty much swapped out the front again a lot sooner than anticipated. But 12K miles, uh, pretty much I haven't changed anything else. Just been keeping up with it, oil changes and fluids. A bit of air got to rear brake, but was able to sort it out. Mostly because we've been filling it up, topping up everything. No clutch slippage. Had a lot more experience coming from the 98 VFR, so this is my first technically super sport bike. Definitely a lot different riding position. I've had a few misshifts, essentially shifting down when I shouldn't have shifted down, and yeah, obviously no better to money shift it while it's at a lower gear. But obviously the first gear can go to 70, so long as you're not money shifting at that point, usually it's not gonna happen. So I also got a lot of info from this bike or background. I believe it is a one owner bike, considering the condition and all the care that went into it. But the previous owner was actually like a law enforcement officer. I guess most likely they used it for track, or most likely they used it for a few trips. All things considered, it had sat along a longer while than anticipated. So that's, you know, essentially, he had a lot of paperwork. He had the spare key with like the original like DMV or like dealership little sticker, everything looking official. The owner's manual, like a little repair man. It's like a lot of like little details that he had. So he ended up choosing to keep a Harley Davidson, and just got rid of this bike where I picked it up. But yeah, just keeping it pretty much stock as possible. In this video, I think I'll let the bike speak more than me, because this one, I think the sport bikes really do speak for themselves, especially after I've been able to get my hands on one. I think one of the main concerns is that earlier bikes is the rectifier on this one. Look, it appears to not be like the original connectors on it. It seems like it might have been already repaired as well, so that's a plus. So I believe I just got shy of seven grand for a sport bike. I also jumped on this bike because I had a lot of aftermarket things. It pretty much was already going to purchase if I was gonna get a fully showroom bike. Yeah, yet again, in my opinion, just right now, how insurance is going, I just didn't want to get anything pretty much a lot too new. Uh, Typically, I've not been keen on getting the highest end insurance, so I'm more of a local rider, not go on too dang far. Yeah, when I first did obtain this the Gixxer as my first sport bike, it pretty much when the first time I actually got to sit on one, I pretty much kind of like fell in love with like the seating position with my height and all the ergonomics. Kind of like you just feel it on when you're sitting on the bike, and it felt very good in my opinion. Just like my first bike was the 2012 Honda CBR 250R, and on that bike, I believe that one particular one that I had was lowered, and it was had very narrow feeling bars, so and the highway obviously was not as good. So this particular Gixxer is pretty similar to the one that I did look at. Uh, Pretty much my shoulders can actually be open, arms are not too like I guess you can say like shortened or bent too dang upward. The pegs are not too uncomfortable. They feel semi high, but not as crazy high, I believe, as most other bikes. And I think overall the weight was a pretty big pro. It's kind of the same weight as the 250 that R that I had, and obviously like a lot more power and capability. I think I've heard a lot of people discuss like changing the sprockets potentially for like street and road, but I think the stock sprockets are pretty much the best of both worlds already. Um, you sit at 6 to 7K around 80, going 80 to 90 miles an hour. Pretty much that's it's already pretty bang on, and not necessary to move it or change it from stock. So yes, I just thought I'd showcase the Gixxer in this video. Not much else to update on it. I believe a lot of kinks and abnormalities are sorted out for the time being, so yeah, definitely a lot newer and fresher of a bike compared to the high mileage VFR that I own. I definitely am more of a commuter myself. I definitely rack up miles when I'm definitely commuting. But I think currently right now most commuting is not as prevalent, but I'll definitely still be using it as a commuter if necessary. I certainly don't mind a lightweight bike going back and forth a lot more. This Gixxer's already getting close to being a classic, so let's enjoy these classical sounds of the inline 4.